I switched on the light, expecting silence and stillness, the kind that fills a home after a long, exhausting day. My body was heavy from another 14-hour shift at the firm, where ambition was prized more than health, and burnout was a badge of honor. All I wanted was to crawl into bed beside my wife, Amelia, and rest. But as I stepped toward the bedroom, the world tilted. A flash of movement, then pain, blinding and sudden. A fist collided with my face, so hard I barely registered the impact before collapsing to floor. My vision blurred, my head spun, and a cold voice sliced through the haze. "This is the end for you." I blinked through the stars of my eyes, trying to process what I was seeing. A man, tall, composed, and far too confident, stood over me like a shadow brought to life. There was nothing random about this moment. It was personal. It wasn't supposed to be like this. 6 years earlier, I met Amelia at a networking gala in Prague. She was radiant, full of ideas and charm, her dark curls and confident smile drawing everyone in. She was studying architecture back then, while I was carving a place for myself in investment banking. From the first moment, it felt like fate. We bonded over ambition, vision, and our desire to build something beautiful. Her with her designs, me with the finances to bring them to life. We married young, headstrong, and full of hope. Our home in Vienna was filled with elegance, curated art, soft lighting, and shared dreams. But as my career surged forward, so did the demands. Travel, deadlines, pressure. I told myself I was doing all for us, but the late nights and missed dinners wore thin. Amelia said she felt invisible, like she was competing with my career. I tried to make it up to her. Gifts, spontaneous trips, but the distance had grown roots. Something had shifted. Her laughter became rare. Her phone constant. She would step into another room to take calls, chuckling at messages she never shared. When I asked, she claimed it was just her friends. I wanted to believe her. I needed to believe her. After all, marriage was built on trust. Then came the trip to Zurich. I was meant to be away for 3 days, finalizing a high-stakes deal. But things wrapped up early. I decided to surprise her. The thought of her smile, her arms around me, it carried me all the way home. Instead, I was greeted by a black Audi parked in front of our house. Sleek, expensive, not the kind of car her friends drove. My stomach sank, but I clung to denial. Maybe a client, maybe nothing. But inside, the silence was deafening. I dropped my bag and walked toward the living room, where I heard her laugh, a sound I hadn't heard in months. Soft, intimate. Peering around the corner, I saw her, Amelia, sitting beside a man I didn't recognize. Tall, well-dressed, polished. Her hand rested gently on his knee. Their heads leaned in close, eyes locked. My heart stopped. I didn't confront them. Not then. I needed answers, not a scene. Quietly, I took a photo and backed away. For the next week, I lived a lie, smiling, pretending. But every minute was spent unraveling the truth. I hired a private investigator. I needed clarity, and he delivered it. His name was Victor, a real estate developer, wealthy, connected, charming, the kind of man who knew how to exploit vulnerability. He and Amelia had been having an affair for months. They met during her firm's renovation project. From hotel rooms to stolen moments in our own home, they played house in the very space I built for love. The folder the investigator handed me was thick with receipts, images, messages. I read them all. Lucas is too busy for me. Victor, you make me feel alive again. The betrayal cut deeper than anything I'd ever felt. But I didn't rage. I planned. I waited. And I made sure everything was set for the moment of truth. The night I returned unexpectedly, I knew what I was walking into. I knew Victor might be there. What I didn't expect was the ambush. He must have seen my car and decided to eliminate the problem, me, before I could speak. But I wasn't going down without a fight. As he leaned in for another blow, I kicked upward with everything I had, catching him in the gut. He stumbled back, gasping, and I scrambled to my feet. My voice roared through the hallway. "What the hell are you doing in my house?" Amelia appeared, frozen in the doorway, her eyes wide with terror. Lucas stopped, Please, it's not what you think. Not what I think. I laughed bitterly, my voice shaking with rage. So you didn't sneak him into our home? You didn't lie to me for months. Victor moved toward me, but I pointed directly at him, my voice low and venomous. Take one more step, and I swear I'll break you. He paused. Doubt flickered across his face. Amelia, let's go, he said, reaching for her hand. No one is going anywhere. I snapped. Not until I'm done. I threw the folder onto the bed. Pages spilled out, images, texts, receipts. The ugly truth in black and white. This is what you've been doing behind my back. This is what you gave up our marriage for. Amelia's tears fell freely. Please, let me explain. There's nothing left to explain. You made your choice. Now here's mine. Victor built his empire on trust and a clean image. I shattered it overnight. I sent the full report, photos, timestamps, hotel logs, to his top investors anonymously. Within days, funding was pulled. His reputation crumbled. His company began to bleed. Amelia's firm was just as proud. Integrity was everything. I forwarded evidence of her affair, her misuse of company time and resources. She was suspended pending an internal investigation. Her rising star flickered and fell. The next morning, I filed for divorce. I came armed with truth, and the court saw it clearly. I kept the house, the assets, the name I'd worked so hard to protect. Amelia was left with nothing but silence and consequence. Weeks passed. Word spread. Victor's business collapsed entirely. He fled the country, desperate to escape the storm. Amelia, once elegant and admired, now worked freelance out of a cramped apartment. She tried to reach out, to apologize. I never answered. My peace came not from revenge, but from release. I refocused on my health, my career, and my purpose. The betrayal had wrecked me, but it didn't define me. It woke me up. It reminded me of my worth, of what I should never tolerate again. The night I turned on that bedroom light, I thought I had lost everything, but it was actually the beginning. Sometimes betrayal is the final push we need to walk away, not just from someone, but from everything we outgrew. What breaks you today might be the exact force that builds you tomorrow. And the best revenge? Knowing you never needed them to be whole.